right, let's move on to the Western Conference here and be very quick here. The Avalanche, they just don't have very much depth. And every year, Landeskog gets hurt at some point, or McKinnon gets hurt, or Rantanen gets hurt. Burakovsky was very good last year. He's got to continue that. The Kadri had scored 1 goal in his last 27 games before he was suspended for the playoffs. I know, and I think he's a tough player to play against, but he's got to put up some offense if he wants to be a top 6 forward. Or will Alex Newhook take that role away from him? This team does not have very much depth. It has some depth, not very much. Their defense looks excellent. Cale Makar could win the Norris Trophy. I'm not going to take him at plus 400 to win it. Girard, I love. Bowen Byram, I think, is going to be a beast. Having Eric Johnson and Jack Johnson and Ryan Murray, with the 3 young guys, I'm not sure how much it's going to help. I don't know if Darcy Kemper is the number 1 goalie, and hopefully Pavel Francouz, who we didn't see last year, can take that role from him. But I don't see any value on the Avalanche anywhere on the board. I don't see anything. And I took the Dallas Stars to win the division at plus 700. So what are your thoughts on this?
Give me the bag. You took Dallas to win the division?
Yeah, plus 700, yes.
Okay, I wouldn't lie to you, Jimmy the Bag, right? Mm-hmm. I was about to yell out, can we just jump to Dallas Stars under 95.5, under. I was about to do that.
Well, let's move right on to them next because
you like Dallas?
I think this is a very, very good hockey team.
Wow. Okay, let's hear it.
I think that Rupi Hintz will be a top 10 player in the NHL this year. You have Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin. Tyler Seguin, guys that I don't trust, but now they don't have to be trusted. This little Joe Pavelski has completely changed Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin because now they've seen what a leader looks like and what a leader acts like. And now they can't just fool around. Tyler Seguin missed all of last year. He's got so much to prove. Jamie Benn can play on a line with Seguin and Radulov, or can be a third-line centerman. Alexander Radulov played 11 games last year. This guy is a dynamic forward who can score. He's tough. He's in front of the net. He's so good. I mean, we got Pavelski and Radulov as right wingers, so Gurionov is not going to get an opportunity, but he's a 24-year-old sniper. You have Jason Robertson, 45 points in 51 games as a rookie. What's he going to do this year with Rupi Hintz and Joe Pavelski? I think Heiskanen is easily one of the best defensemen in the league. You have Klingberg in a contract year. If Klingberg has a big season, he's going to get a huge contract. Look, their goaltending is the problem. Khudobin, I don't think, is number 1, and Holtby is terrible, absolutely terrible. Thank you, Jose. I was saying it's okay that we go a little longer here. So I think this is a very good hockey team, and I mean, humming and hawing whether I take them to win the cup or to win the conference. I've been sitting here thinking, but to win the division, I really like.
Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing they've got an old team, even though their most important guys, yes, are in their prime or coming into it. But they've got overall an old roster and goaltending problems, like you said. And if I get canceled for this, fine. But yes, I am ageist. I'm biased against old players in hockey. Okay, so I got something to think about.
Slats says no open slaps for Benn and Seguin this year. Look, I hate Jamie Benn and I hate Tyler Seguin. I don't want to study this team and be shocked at how good they are, how hard they're going to be to play against. I look at this roster and I see if they had a Ryan Reeves or a Tom Wilson, they would have it all. I think there's their goaltending is bad, but that's something that you can fix. And I don't think maybe if Ben Bishop comes back and is healthy. Luke Murphy says Seguin, Radulov, Ben, Pavelski all past their prime. Yeah, that's right. And Rupi Hintz is a top 10 player in the NHL. You have, any other year, Jason Robertson wins Rookie of the Year. Dennis Gurionov is a 24-year-old sniper. So sometimes it's good to have. Look, Pavelski keeps rolling. You see his numbers last year? I don't have it in front of me, but I believe he scored 51 points, 56 games.
Yeah, sure. Wow. And Birdie says this is the year the Stars take a run. This is the year back to the Stars. Only Stanley Cup future I've played. Yeah. I thought this would be under or pass as far as the points total is concerned.
James Fadala says, are you okay? Hintz is top 10. He's not right now. But I believe when this season is done, he will be let's say forward, a top 10 forward in the NHL. And the best player easily on this Dallas Stars team.
Wow.
So, yeah, I think that maybe I should put a little bit on them to win the conference and win the cup. I'm trying to keep it down, my action, but maybe I should. All right, let's move on to the Minnesota Wild. And look, we talked about Kirill Kaprizov nonstop last year. And then we talked about when Zuccarello gets healthy, watch Kirill Kaprizov roll. And I question whether Joel Eriksson was good enough to be a first-line centerman on this hockey team. I did pick Eriksson in the pool late in October last night. Kaprizov was dynamite, and then he signs this giant contract. Jordan Greenway is exactly the type of player I want on my hockey team. Big, tough, scary, can score. And Marcus Foligno, same deal. Big, tough, scary, can score. You got Kevin Fiala, who's got a lot of speed. This is a very good hockey team. Look at that fourth line: Nico Sturm, Nick Bjugstad, and Victor Rask. I wish Bjugstad was bigger and tougher for that 6'6" frame. Dumba, Spurgeon, Goligoski, Brodin. Dumba, Brodin is your second defensive unit. Is Cam Talbot as good as we saw last year? James Vandala says Gurionov is better. All right, James Vandala. Because Gurionov is going to be hard-pressed to get on the power play. But I'm going to keep a note of you saying that. And I'm sure you will never come back to the show late in the season because of that comment. Let me just put that here beside the Stars. Yeah, the goaltending does concern me, but I think this Wild team is going to be very good. I think they're going to be a very good hockey team and very tough to beat. I think with Columbus being such a big favorite that you're probably put yourself in a nice situation taking both Minnesota and Dallas futures to win the division. Brady says Wild dead nuts over team. We will cash until the market catches up on them. On my regulation, on my reputation, this Wild power play is going to be super elite. I'm extremely high on the Wild. This is a really young, exciting team.
Wow. What a bunch of commenters we got here. This is awesome.
The Wild are a very good team, but I like Dallas to win that division. The Wild's exact same price. They're both plus 700. Look, it's probably a great bet to take both the Wild and the Stars at plus 700 and then wait to see if you get a line on the Avalanche at some point that's plus money, live while we go through the season. To win the conference, the Wild are 11-1. To win the Cup, the Wild are, 25-1. They're a really good hockey team. They're a really good hockey team. So Johnny K says the Wild D suspect. I love getting rid of Suter and Parise and sticking with the young guys. They're a very good hockey team. You know who else I think is a very good hockey team? Is the St. Louis Blues. I think they're going to completely fly under the radar here because of a bad year last year. I like the Buchnevich signing. I don't know what Jordan Kyrou is going to do this year. I really don't. I don't know what he is as a hockey player. We've been sitting back waiting for Robert Thomas to step up, and he hasn't. I don't have high hopes for Vladimir Tarasenko, and I don't think you need them. I was shocked at the numbers David Perron put up last year. I don't know if he's capable of doing that again. I don't know if Brandon Sayad is fast enough to be on the first line with Ryan O'Reilly, who's not that fast. I don't know if they have enough speed, Sayad Riley, as number one, but you can change that. Colton Parayko is he's going to be on Team Canada's defense. He's such a great defenseman. Big outlet passes that remind me of Chris Pronger. I mean, not to the same level. I don't know if Binnington's that good, to be honest with you, but I think that this St. Louis Blues team is really good. What do you think of the Blues this year, Pete?
I'm still like my mind is still hemorrhaging from your Dallas analysis, which I definitely am going to pull that as an official play though. St. Louis, I have them roughly dead on as far as like low 90s. I would put them no opinion on the points total.
Maybe the fact that this division is so good. Maybe the move is to take the Avalanche under 111.5 points. There's Turnsey in the house. Maybe that's the move. Take the Avalanche under 111.5 points because we're about to talk about a Winnipeg Jets team that I think is also very good. I mean, this division is just good. Scheifele won't be in game 1 because of the suspension, but Kyle Connor is just a sniper.
Sorry, do you want to tell you one thing about St. Louis?
Yes.
My only concern with them is that they play a physical team. They play a physical game, and their guys are a little bit old. So, kind of reminds me of like the Kings or something from the mid 2010s, where they've got veteran players with big contracts, but then they sort of decline gradually. So that's why I'm concerned about St. Louis.
I think you make a good point. The Torrey Krug signing, and him and Justin Falk are good defensemen, but Colton Parayko, I'm just in love with. He's just the perfect defenseman in my eyes. I think he's so talented, and you're right. I see the comparisons. This is a very good hockey team, but I also think Winnipeg is a really good hockey team. Now Dubois has to step up, and Ehlers has to keep moving in the right direction. And I don't like the Nate Schmidt pickup personally. Pionk and Morrissey are going to have to hold the fort down. But Connor Hellebuck is a spectacular goaltender, and this is just a good hockey team. This is a really good hockey team.
I just get nervous about teams that rely so much on an elite goaltender,
Sorry, say that again?
I just get very nervous about long-term futures bets on teams that rely so heavily on an elite goalie like this.
No, that makes sense. Dennis says Winnipeg's mediocre. I think they're a good hockey team in a very, very tough division that's gotten so much better this year than last year. So let's just keep rolling. We move on to the Chicago Blackhawks. Blackhawks are up next. What's Jonathan Toews going to do this year? It's a huge question. And from a hockey fan, I want him to be good. And I know he's Captain Serious and he's capable of being good. Turnsey says swept those 2 team totals. Oh, beautiful. Great job, Turnsey. Dennis Garcia says, which division don't you like? Well, the Pacific Division is trash. But that's easy to say. Pacific Division is trash. And the Atlantic Division's bad. I mean, the Atlantic Division has the Lightning and Panthers in it, but it's the Metropolitan and the Central. These are very, very good divisions. And the Blackhawks are going to vastly improve. Tyler Johnson as a first-line centerman is just, it's ridiculous. I mean, Kirby Dach's got to be able to take over that spot. DeBrincat and Kane. You can't have a line that's DeBrincat, Johnson, and Kane. Doesn't matter how fast you are, you're going to get beat up. And then Seth Jones is the number 1 defenseman. Finally get rid of Keith and Seabrook that have been holding this team back. Look, they won them 3 Stanley Cups, and they should be treated as heroes in the city, but you got to get rid of them. And Seth Jones is a beast. This team has got to be improved. And you have Marc-Andre Fleury. I mean, this has to be a much improved team, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It's tough. I think that getting Fleury is probably a huge plus. And Toews' health is a big question mark, though.
Dennis Garcia said, I found Vancouver to make the playoffs at plus 165. I took it because I agreed the division's terrible, hoping they get that 3rd spot. They're a little, and he says, I also don't believe in Seattle. I look forward to get to this. To that division here shortly. The Blackhawks are going to be much improved. Their team total at 90.5, Bet365 heavily juiced to the under. Then we move on to the Nashville Predators.
Sorry, just one comment on the Hawks, though. They definitely feel like they have urgency, whether they'll be able to do it or not. And, for team totals, especially when they're, in the mid-range like this, that sense of urgency or the lack thereof, it weighs heavily on my mind in all sports,
I think that's a good point. Crawford is long gone.
Would you agree that that they're one of those teams that has like a win now urgency to them or not?
Without a doubt, an absolute win now, and that's why they, gave up the first rounders for Seth Jones. They know that Kane and they're getting Toews back, and Kane's old and he's still elite. So I think it's a really well put.
So when you have a sense of urgency along with a mid-range, season win total or point total or whatever, then I'm usually looking for over, because even if they don't achieve the way they want to, they'll probably get, over that mid-range total.
Kirby Dach has got size and he's just a kid, but and if Captain Series can come back and play like a man, but I see this as being a very easy. They can't physically hurt you. This forward group, they can just draw penalties and hurt you on the power play. Like I don't see them as being very tough to play against at this point. Let's move on to Nashville Predators here. What a disappointment this team has been. And if you need Ryan Johansson or Matt Duchene to do anything, I mean, you're in deep, deep trouble. And this is just a bad hockey team right now. Cody Glass in that trade, for Nolan Patrick, that he may help. He will in the long run, but they got to get rid of Johansson and Duchene. Johansson breaks my heart seeing him be such a terrible hockey player at this point in his career when I thought he was just a stud. That when they got Ryan Johansson for Seth Jones, I thought, man, they got that big centerman who could score 80 to 100 points every year. What a mistake that was. The Nashville Predators here at 83.5 points. How could they possibly get to 83.5 points in this division? They can't. Can they? This is a surefire under that I didn't realize.
I'm not sure. I was leaning over. I'm not exactly. Are they in rebuilding mode? They've got an okay decor, right?
No, Roman Josi is very good. Mattias Ekholm is good. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, I have no real opinion on it other than thinking that they might be one of those lower tier teams that would have value as an underdog throughout the season in spots.
Maybe game to game, but this is a very good division, and 83.5 points. I just don't see how they get there.
Sure.
So, and Johnny K says Sakic deserves some credit for seeing right through Duchene. Yeah, absolutely. Duchene's terrible. Then we'll go into the Coyotes. How bad are the Arizona Coyotes going to be this year? I mean, just horrific. I mean, you have Louis Eriksson who can't make it into you have players. He's a top 6 forward on this team. Ryan Zingle can't crack a lineup. He's a top 6 forward. Andrew Ladd, on the fourth line.
7-game series. I'd probably take him over Buffalo, though.
I don't know.
No?
Chicherin is a good defenseman. I don't know if Ghost is going to try to get his career back in. Carter Hutton and Joseph Coronar. I guess the goaltending's so bad in Buffalo, so maybe with Schmaltz, Krause, Keller on the first line, you're probably right.
Buffalo, I think, is going to be one of those classic teams that's horrible and still not priced as horrible as they should be priced by the market for a significant period of the season.
I think that there's going to be overs here. I do not know what Rick Tocchet could possibly do with this group, but Carter Hutton is not a good goal. They're just going for the number 1 overall pick. And look, this is what happens when you hire a 26-year-old general manager. Has it ever worked in any sport? Ever? No. And look, just now you're left with this trash heap of a franchise, and he's fucked off doing something else. So this team is absolutely terrible. And then again, the focus will be on their special teams. Because Keller is a sniper and Schmaltz can play, and and you got Chicherin on the point. If they can score you some goals, because Carter Hutton's not going to stop goals. So
maybe under. I have the numbers I ran look. They have it pretty much dead on at like where is it, like 68.5. But maybe the under is a good play there.
You know what? Let's just take another look at it right now. Arizona, 68.5. Wow, is that too high? God, I don't want too many bets, but under 68.5. Wow. Okay, let's move.
I'll make that official. Under 68.5. I'll make that an official play.
What's the juice?
115.
I like it. Dennis Garcia says, does it bother you that the Islanders lead league with 19 sets of back-to-back games? Yeah, it's not helpful. Edmonton is the lowest with 8. What I really want to know what happens in the first 13 games of the season when they are out on the road. Brady says they have to play the trap game. They have to. If they don't, Talkett will lose his job. If Talkett can keep them competitive, he gets another job. They have to trap Eileen under in their games. You're absolutely right. They're an under team, especially defensively. It's just Carter Hutton. Yeah, but you're right. You're absolutely right. Johnny K says Arizona tricky. Bettman wants them to be good. They don't have an arena. They could be the Kansas City Coyotes here in 2 years. All right, let's move on to the Pacific Division and put a bow on this show. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us, and it's great having Pete for these extra times. And watch what Pete does with the NHL when we all work together. He's masterful with it.